This is the BG Climbers list for the week ending 4/20/2022. This list is put together every week by Michael Alexander. I'll include links in the description below if you want to take a look at the actual list. Let's get into it. We're going to start with number 10 here, which is Creature Comforts. This is I would say, family weight game, medium light game with some really great artwork and presentation. It continues to do I would say, pretty solid. I think the game is inviting to a lot of people, but I do think that simplicity is going to keep it out of the top 100. I predict this will probably land in the top 500 games and settle in there. This is number 10, Creature Comforts. Number 9, Foundations of Rome. So this is a massive game from Emerson Masucci, and it was published by Arcane Wonders, which is the kind of the Dice Tower Essentials line. This was their first Arcane Wonders Kickstarter, if I remember right. And it's a fairly straightforward tile placement game with a lot. Well, I guess it's tile placement, but it's also like building placement. You're essentially building your city of Rome. And it has these massive miniatures in a huge box. Like, let's see if we can find a picture of it. Yeah, so you can tell from here, this box is massive to hold all this stuff that comes with it. As far as the game itself, I can imagine the presentation is stunning. I played the game. I think it had solid mechanics, but I couldn't see myself personally spending this amount of money on this gigantic of a game that is kind of this light. I tend to favor heavier games. Where do I think it's going to land? I think because of its lightness, it's not going to end up getting in the top 100. Probably also because I think it was a Kickstarter exclusive. Maybe they'll do a second Kickstarter on this, but I don't see it. I don't see this getting in the top 100 just because of how light it is. And it's starting out pretty good, 8.27. I do think, we'll see in the next couple weeks and how it trends, but after that, it usually trends a little bit lower than its starting out rating. And I have played the game, and I do think it's got, solid Emerson Matsuchi mechanics, but again, just because of my lack of any more space for a large game and the kind of production nature of this game, I just didn't see myself owning it. That's number 9, Foundations of Rome. Number 8, Return to the Dark Tower. So this continues to surprise me every week how strong the ratings are. It makes me actually want to go out and get this game potentially. Probably I'll just play it at a convention and be happy with that. Just because I've been limiting my acquisitions of board games a lot more than I used to. I think this game has potential to get in the top 100. I didn't originally think there was any way it was going to, but it's continually hitting 8.5 and above, and it's already got 1,000 ratings. Let's see how this one does, but I think we might be looking at this one entering or at least coming close to the top 100. That's number 8, Return to the Dark Tower. Number 7, Perseverance, Castaway Chronicles, Episodes 1 and 2. So this is the latest Mind Clash game, board game. Last week, we saw this on the list. It had 8.21 average. This week, it's done a little bit better with an 8.37. I do think that it's probably going to come down over time, just based on my gameplay of it. This one, I don't think is going to end up in the top 100, much like, or it won't end up the top 100 like Anachrony did, but I do think it's probably going to do better than Cerebria. So, there is that. Personally, the Mind Clash game I am looking forward to is Voidfall, and let's see how that one does. So this is number 7, Perseverance, Castaway Chronicles, Episodes 1 and 2. Number 6, Azul's Queen's Garden. So this is the latest Azul game. I think it's been more than a year since the last Azul game. Maybe it's been 3 years. This one, I actually haven't seen any reviews that I've watched yet for it. I think the presentation of it looks really good. I like the colors. It's got the same amazing tiles that Azul has. The same, I think it looks like similar mechanics to it. maybe you have it actually looks like maybe you have this drafting thing where you're actually going to build your board as you draft your tiles, which is kind of different from other Azules. My personal favorite is Summer Pavilion. I think it's just and this is a heavier weight one, so maybe I'll like this, but I feel like Azul really shines when it gets to its core drafting mechanic, and I really think Summer Pavilion was the one for me that really simplified that down and made it probably the best game it could be. After the Summer Pavilion, I like Azul, the original, best. I didn't care too much for Stained Glass of Sintra. I just felt like maybe there's more of a game there, like a more competitive game, but I didn't feel like that's what I go to play Azul. So this is, oh yeah, and I doubt this one is making it in the top 100. Just the ratings haven't been strong enough, I don't think, to start out with for an Azul game. I think it's just going to probably end up in the top 500 again ish. So number 6, Azul Queen's Garden. Number 5 is Dead Reckoning. So this game is doing amazingly well. We're almost up to 1,000 ratings and a 8.49 average. Assuming there's enough copies out there with this first print run, I do think this is probably going to end up in the top 100. That's assuming there's enough copies. If there isn't, hopefully AEG reprints it or does another Kickstarter or releases a non-Kickstarter version, because I think this is very well received so far. Number 5, Dead Reckoning. Number 4, Wonderland's War. So this is getting really strong ratings, which I'm not surprised about. I played this game multiple times in the pre-release version, which I think is very close to the final version of it. I played it in person at a convention where they had a demo of it from their booth, and then I was able to play it online a couple times in the interim. The game itself, I think, is strong. I think there's probably going to be some there's one issue I see with the game. I haven't played it recently, but the fact that you are directly competing against people in these battles could turn into something where you just the luck may swing a little bit too much with the bag building nature of the game. I've also seen some posts about some of the characters being a little bit overpowered, which might mean they're gonna change them or have some errata to tweak them a little bit. If you're not familiar with this game, it's essentially a bag building battle game where you are going to draft cards and battle, and the drafting cards can build your bag, can improve your chances of winning battles, and you do this over essentially 3 rounds. The deluxe version looks amazing. I'll eventually have an unboxing here. The artwork is extremely good. I think it's the same artist that did Dice Throne, Manny Tremblay, and I really like the artistic vision of this. I think the deluxe chips, which apparently are going to be very hard to get your hands on now, are they turned out better than I expected when I ordered them. I was a little bit nervous about the sticker thing. I think the sticker looks great. I think it'll hold up fine, at least for the number of plays that I will probably play of this game. And the overall production is amazing. So that is Wonderland's War. Do I think this is going to end up? I guess the non-deluxe version is only $50, so that's pretty reasonable, I think, for this game. 52 at Miniature Market, that's pretty good. So, if you're looking for it, apparently it's available for pre-order. I would say from the plays I've played, I recommend checking it out. If you like Quacks, I think you're going to like this game. I think the theme of it's really good, and I think the kind of area control battling thing is fun. As far as strategic, it's probably not the most strategy heavy game out there. Maybe more, it's probably more so than Quacks, but not as much as like a regular strategy game. And I think we need to give it a little bit more time, but just in my personal opinion, I think it deserves to be in the top 100. I think it will probably be Skybound Games. It's the best game from them that I've played. I haven't played all their games, but I do think it probably deserves, if not in the top 100, probably deserves to be in the top 2 games. So Wonderland's War, number 4. Number 3, Long Shot the Dice Game. So this is doing really well off the Shut Up and Sit Down reviews, but as I predicted, I think it's going to come down a little bit more as it goes. I think this is going to fall short of being in the top 100 is my expectation. So it's number 3, Long Shot the Dice Game. Number 2, Ghosts of Christmas. So this is interesting. This is a trick-taking game from a, I think, Japanese designer with, I guess it was released on Kickstarter a number of years ago, and it must be getting delivered to backers now. I didn't actually check into that. Z did a review recently, so it must be getting delivered, or maybe there's a retail version of it available. I do like the art style of this game. I think it's kind of whimsical. I don't like trick-taking games, so I'm probably not gonna try it out. The only trick-taking games I like are The Crew, basically. The one interesting thing is, I guess it's like, the Scrooge story where the ghosts visit and you play tricks the past, present, and future. So maybe you're playing like 3 different tricks at a time, and you have to make a lot of decisions with that. And maybe that's interesting on its own in terms of changing a trick-taking game from something that I think is rather boring and just time-consuming into something that is interesting, like The Crew. So we'll see. I don't think this is going to end up anywhere near the top 100, but it is something that looks pretty interesting as maybe The Crew is bringing back trick-taking games. I don't know. So that's number 2, Ghosts of Christmas. And number 1 is Planet Unknown. So this one is kind of surging in the ratings. So we got another like 150 ratings this week. It went up to 8.18, which is the highest it's done in a month. So Planet Unknown is one of the games I looked at on Kickstarter and I passed on it. The tile placement mechanisms here didn't really appeal to me as much as I was hoping when I looked at it. And maybe I like the dual layer board. I like the artwork on it, but it was like, felt like tile placement just isn't my genre of sorts. Do I think that I regret that? Probably not. I have a feeling that this one is not a game I would personally like, but it does seem like a lot of people are liking it, and I think that it being number 1 this week shows that. I still don't believe this will end up in the top 100. Getting in there keeps getting harder and harder every year, and I think that this one probably won't have the legs to get up there, given that it's kind of already starting around 8.0. So there you have it. That is the BG Climbers for the week ending 4/20/2022. If you like this video, please like and please subscribe. Thank you.